Summertime is here, folks, and that means cookouts at the lake, at the pool, summer barbecues, and you need to stop in and see my friends at South's Finest Meats. They have a wide variety of meats, fruits, and vegetables, including pork ribs, butts, fresh ground hamburgers made daily, lots of varieties of smoked sausage. Everybody loves sausage, fresh hand-cut steaks, and chicken. You can check them out at 3201 10th Avenue or their Cottondale location at 6405 University Boulevard East. They are definitely looking forward to serving you. Coming up on this edition of the Stingray Show, we are going to take you back in time to the early 2000s and talk with a former Alabama defensive end, Ahmad Childress, who played at Alabama from 2002 and 2003. He was a Juco transfer to Alabama. He will join us just ahead on this edition of the Stingray Show right here on Tide 100.9.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Those of you on Tide 100.9, look out. You're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, a.k.a. Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee.
I don't know if you want me to get mad. I don't know if you want me to get mean. I don't know if you want me to get rowdy, but that's what I'm about to do. Worst defense ever! We are Mississippi State! Fear the Bills!
How many chicken wings you eat in a sitting? And you just look, ballpark it.
4.
What?
4 chicken wings, my.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, to everyone in Tuscaloosa listening here on Tide 100.9. With the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
Citizens of West Alabama, have you heard about the new farmers market that's coming to Foster's? Yes, you heard that correctly. The Foster's Farmers Market is having its grand opening celebration on June the 10th from 7 a.m. until 12 noon at the Broughton Park under their brand new farmers market structure. There will be a ribbon cutting, door prizes, food, and so much more. For more information, follow the Foster's Farmers Market on Facebook or visit fostersfarmersmarket.com. They are still taking vendor applications if you want to sell fruits or vegetables there at Foster's Farmers Market. Once again, the grand opening celebration is June the 10th from 7 a.m. until noon at the Broughton Park. The Foster's Farmers Market hopes to see you there. And with all of that, guys, we say welcome inside another edition of the Stingray Show right here on Tide 100.9. And we are talking with a former Alabama player who played from 2002 into 2003. He was a defensive lineman, number 95, and Heath, my friend, this guy was a big old boy on the defensive line, let me tell you.
I'm going to let him know that you called him a boy. I call him a man. You'll have to settle up with him later, Stephen.
Right.
No, huge guy, huge presence, and was not only a huge presence in his physique, but in his play as well.
So without further ado, let me just go ahead and say he comes to Alabama from Garden City Community College, played there in 2000 and 2001, and then transferred into the University of Alabama, where he lettered both years and played under Dennis Franchione, and then, of course, Mike Shula. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ahmad Childress. Ahmad, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Blessed.
So, where are you in the world these days, Ahmad?
Oh, I'm back in my hometown in Nashville, Tennessee.
Ahmad, before you went off to community college in Kansas, you were from Nashville, correct?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. And what high school did you go to there in Nashville?
Whites Creek High School.
Okay. And so there you went from there to the junior college route. Now, I know there's a lot of junior colleges everywhere, especially in the Southeast, especially the state of Mississippi, who has a huge junior college program, a massive one. Why did you choose to go to Kansas?
I went to Kansas because Kansas was they came to me because when I was in high school, I was one of those players that, thought that teachers going to give you everything. You're a star. They're going to give you everything. You don't have to do your grades. You don't have to study. I didn't take my academics as tough as I supposed to have taken. So, a lot of schools, they backed off when they found out my grades was low. I might not be able to qualify. But Alabama stayed with me.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And they came to my mom and them and was like, we know junior college, we're going to call them and have them get in touch with you and send you up there, and then happen to be Garden City Community College.
Gotcha, because I'm pretty sure Jackie Sherrill over at Mississippi State had all the junior colleges in his back pocket, because that's how he kept that program afloat for a couple of decades over there in Starkville.
Yes,
that actually makes tons of sense to send you as far away from Mississippi and that junior college program as possible.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, it was far away. I think it was almost like 1,000 miles away, almost.
Wow. So what was the big shocker for you coming from Nashville and then going to Kansas? What was the big shocker?
Being away from home and being to a city, man, where it was literally nothing. I've never been to a city where probably two red lights. The rest is four-way stops. Their mall consisted of a Sears and a Foot Locker and a Sally's. I came from where it's like 3-4 miles in my. So it was to drop me off. It was rough because it was a story. I'll tell you a story about. I got there. My mom dropped me off. My mom and my aunt Jane, they dropped me off. So my mom was finna get ready to leave, and I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm ready to go with you. This you dropped me off in the middle of nowhere. I don't know nothing about this. I'm looking at it. I'm like, this. I don't even see a downtown. Like, no, I'm going home. Sure enough, she calls my dad. Hey, he talking about he tried to come home. My daddy got on the phone. He said, hey, man, you ain't going home. Man up, and hung up the phone.
So with that, did you ever enjoy your time there in Kansas? Do you look back at it very fondly?
I wound up, I loved Kansas. I wound up, when I stayed there, I loved it. Met my best friend, my brother for life. We went on to Alabama together, Derek Pope. He's my son's godfather. I went on and met him. That was a blessing. And then I had a family. They had like some families down there that adopt kids that was from out of state to help them feel at home. And man, I had a lovely family. The Parrs down there, Evan and Adele Parr. And then still today, I keep in touch with them. I keep in touch with them still to the day. And they helped me feel so much at home. And they called home. My mom was like, man, we got him. You don't have to worry about nothing. My mom, she was like, oh, my baby's gone off. And
well, what would the Parrs do for you?
Oh, man, they'll take me to church. They'll come to some of the games. They'll have me over their house for dinner all the time. And I go play with their kids and stuff. And still to the day, their kids call me their brother still.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they all grown. They got kids. Evan and Emilio and Adele, and I still keep up with them on Facebook, and they be like, "What's up, brother?" I was like, "What's up?"
That's great.
So Ahmad, I've got to ask you, when you left the community college, which other schools were recruiting you besides Alabama?
I had Michigan State, Iowa State, Colorado, Oklahoma, KU, K-State, South Carolina.
Right.
Mississippi State was, Ole Miss. I couldn't do UT did, but I told my coach, I was like, man, I'm not going to UT. You don't even have to worry about you just keep that letter in your office. I don't need that. I'm not.
So why did you not want to go to UT?
I did not want to go to UT because I did not want to be close to home.
Okay.
I've already got used to being away from home. So I'm like, man, I don't want to be nowhere near home.
Right.
I want to go be around, be out of the state, you know.
And Tennessee was doing great things at the time.
Yeah, they was doing real good, but you know, I just got used to being away from home. So I'm like, hey, man, let's keep it that way. Plus, I was kind of like, you know, trying to punish my dad. And you told me man up and stay with me, man up, so I'm gonna stay away from home then.
Yeah. So Ahmad, what ultimately made you choose the Crimson Tide of Alabama?
Man, I felt that they never gave up on me. You know, a lot of other schools they gave up on me, and I could have just been a guy scrambling trying to get somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they never gave up on me. They gave me a second chance. So I'm like, y'all stay with me. I'm gonna stay with y'all. I'm gonna be loyal. Y'all never gave up on me, so I'm not gonna give up on y'all.
Now, I know the answer to this question, but I want to hear you say it, then I'm going to do a follow-up. The biggest difference when you came from the junior college ranks there in Kansas, when you came to Tuscaloosa and got an SEC play, the biggest difference, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be speed, correct?
Man, speed all day long, speed and power.
I was about to ask, what was the second biggest shocker to you when you got to Tuscaloosa and started playing with SEC athletes?
I knew I was in big boy ball now.
Mm-hmm.
I know, you know, you still got junior college, you still got kids coming out from high school and stuff. So you know, you still I can say you still like in your playing field, you still in the same little pond.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But
right.
when you come to SEC ball and I came to Bama, first thing I said, oh man, yeah, it's a lot of big fish in this pond. So it's time to, you know, ain't no play time. It's time to get down to work, get to it.
Hey, those first practice, the first practice or two, who were you cutting your eye out and checking out? Like, man, I got to go against him. Like you wanted to go against him, or you're like, man, I don't know if I want to go against this guy right now.
Man, you know, it was one guy, Alonzo Ephraim, because I saw him and Justin Smiley and Mariko Porters, and you know, even Dante Ellerton and Dennis Alexander. You know, I'm looking at them guys and I'm like, shit, they big just like you, dog. And I'm talking to myself. I'm like, man, they big just like you, and they moving. I'm like, shit, you gonna have to bring some artillery out now when you lying down. It ain't, you know, I couldn't just be the brute power that I was in high school and junior college. I had to bring out my whole arsenal now.
Wow.
So Ahmad, right there in 2002, you came to Alabama. Talk about what it was like for you to take the field for the first time in a Crimson Tide uniform, please.
Oh man, my first time when I came out, I remember we was in Birmingham at Legion Field. We played against MTSU, and I'm like, okay, even I'm going against hometown first time in SEC ball. Even though they you know MTSU not SEC, but I'm playing with the SEC team. I'm finna get to see what this crowd is really like, and I come out there for warm up, and the stands are already full in red, crimson, and white. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about now. So, you know, I'm getting a little bit too hype out there. I'm about to, you know, let all my energy go in warm ups because I'm like the crowd's already here. I mean, it was lovely. I loved it.
Yes. What was your first play like that day?
My first play that day, I mean, the whole thing, I was just like, I knew the play, but I was just like, man, I'm just gonna come off the ball and just give it to this dude and let him know what time it is today. Like, I got over 80-something thousand looking at me. I've never played like in front of 80-something thousand. Like,
right?
No, I'm finna let him know you're not finna embarrass me none in this game. I'm finna let you know what I'm doing. I'm gonna control this tempo.
And so, what happened on that play? What happened to that poor soul that lined up against you?
Man, you know, my first play, I'm not gonna lie, it was a double team. It was wound up the center double teaming down, and the guard came down. And I ain't gonna lie, as soon as after the double team, you know, I held my ground right there. And that first thing I said, you better call for a double team because it's gonna be ugly for you right now.
So, Ahmad, the very next week, game number 2 for you at Alabama, you had the opportunity to play in Norman, Oklahoma versus the Sooners. Outside of losing that game, what do you remember most about that game in terms of the atmosphere there in Norman?
Okay, I'm finna tell you. Y'all say I can tell my stories and
Yeah, tell your
everything.
story.
So y'all is finna trip off this one. So I had my uncle. His name was Jimmy Clardy, and my mom and them, they didn't make that game, but my uncle did because he lived right there in DeSoto, Texas. So Oklahoma, Texas, is real close.
Yeah.
So he comes to the game. So we coming in for warm up and everything, and we're supposed to go out for the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you go out to visit the locker room, you go out and it's that fence right there, and then you turn to go to the field. Okay, I'm coming out the locker room, and some just say, "Ahmad, look to your right," and I just see my uncle on the fence with all Oklahoma fans. They booing us and everything, and he just right there on the fence, and he just start breaking through all their arms. Yeah, let's go Alabama. Forget Oklahoma. We're finna whoop them today. He going down the line, knocking people's hands off the fence. He like, I don't care about no Oklahoma. Let's go. Let's get them, y'all. Let's get some. And I'm sitting down like, it looked like a dog running up and down the fence, barking at everybody. And so, I mean, it was funny, but that game, it was a great game. The atmosphere, Big 12, SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was loud. It was loud the whole game.
Wow. Looking back at all of your playing experiences, here, there, everywhere, whether it be in junior college, high school, your time with pros or arena football or anything, any football, what atmosphere really kind of wowed you? Like, man, this is kind of cool. This is kind of neat how they doing it.
I love the Tennessee game. When we went down there and beat them that year.
Mm-hmm.
That Tennessee game, I mean, I was playing against most of my homeboys that I grew up with that was playing on the team. And, I mean, it was just the atmosphere of playing back home. Even though I'm not, it went in Nashville, it was Tennessee. So I had, some family members come, and the stadium was rocking, and I got to see it was my first time getting the feel of SEC rivalry time.
Yes.
Now, I've been at the third game, the third Saturday of October. I've been at that game. I've been there in Neyland, running the camera down there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And it shocks me that the field shakes almost the entire time. The ground under your feet just is constantly
It's never a dull moment in there.
Yeah. And that was the one thing I was like, okay, they're just doing this because they're running through the tee right now. And then, it dies down a little bit, but the kickoff's getting to happen. It starts again. And then, you're like, okay, after kickoff, it'll die down. Okay, first play, it'll die down. All right, after they get a lead, it'll die down. After they get behind, it'll die down. And it never dies down.
No, it never dies down. That game stays rocking.
Yeah, the field is always moving under your feet. Like, you can feel
the vibration.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
was it like that anywhere else?
Oklahoma was like that.
Okay.
Oklahoma was like that because, man, I remember we had them on the ropes. And I want to say we was tied up when this play happened. We was tied up, and we had to punt. And they wind up blocking the punt and scoring. And when that crowd went crazy, I was sitting there talking. I'm like, dude, I can't even hear myself talk to you. Like, it's rocking in here right now. Yeah, like that Oklahoma stadium, it was tough. That and the LSU stadium.
Oh yeah.
So Ahmad, you just talked about the Tennessee game right there on the road in Neyland Stadium. You had an interception that you returned in that game for 24 yards. Walk us through that play as you remember it, please.
I remember Coach calling a blitz on that play, and it was Wayne Bacon that came through. And we come off we coming off, boom, and we hit, and Wayne come through, and he tips the ball. And I just looks up and I see it. I like, yeah, this is my time right here. I'm playing against UT. Everybody's watching back home. I got to go get this. I can't, because I'm usually one of them guys, I like to sit up there with the guy, and I'm going to show him that I'm the muscle. You ain't the muscle, I'm the muscle right here in this challenge. But I was like, I got to go get this one. I knew I wasn't going to get too far because I was already been huffing and puffing a little bit.
Right.
So, I mean, and, Wayne Bacon tipped the pass, and I saw it in the air, and I just went to go get it, and my tight end skills came in.
Right. So, Ahmad, hold that thought because we are up against our first break, and when we come back, we are going to continue the interview with Ahmad Childress, the former Alabama defensive lineman. That's on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Stingray Show right here on Tide 100.9. Citizens of Tuscaloosa and Northport, the summertime is here, and that means the college students have left for the summer. So now it's time for you guys to venture out and try Tuscaloosa's newest coffee shop, Strange Brew on the Strip. Now the temperatures are getting warmer outside, so they have a bunch of frozen drinks such as frappes, bushwhacker, frozen hot chocolates, smoothies, as well as gelato and ice cream for all of your cooling off needs this summer. You can find them at 1101 University Boulevard right there on the Strip at the University of Alabama. You can also follow them at Strange Brew Bama on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for all of the latest information about Strange Brew Coffee House. Go by and see them today and tell them the Stingray Show sent you. Welcome back inside the Stingray Show right here on Tide 100.9. Our guest this evening is Ahmad Childress, the former Alabama defensive lineman. And Ahmad, later in 2002, you got your first taste of the Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn. What is your fondest memory of that rivalry as a player?
Oh man, just how tense it is. Like that was one of them rivals. It's blood. It's gonna be blood, sweat, and tears all day long. It might, it's one of them rivals that it might crack off in pregame. We might get it on in pregame, and man, I loved it. I loved it because I love big games like that. I've always loved it ever since I was in high school. Big rivalry games. Them the most games that I don't know. Big rival games, I don't get as I get nervous like in a little game before I get nervous in a rival game.
Right.
Because when it's a rival game, you already know what time it is. There's no ifs and buts between it. You don't like them, they don't like you. It's not one bit. So it ain't no fact how this game's gonna start and how it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out aggressive, hard, and bloody.
Yes.
Ahmad, fun question. What was your welcome to the SEC moment? You're like, oh man, here it is.
Well, my one welcome to the SEC moment was against Georgia.
Okay,
we played that year, and I really found out how hard them running backs run in the SEC.
Oh yeah,
because that was the year that they had Musa Smith.
Yeah,
and man, me and him, we caught up in the hole, and it was like a stalemate. And I'm used to being the one that's doing the driving back.
Right.
But I had to put my anchor down and dig my cleats in the ground, and let's just go to the side here. I see, I ain't going back. So I see, I'm not, but it was a good game. That Georgia game was that woke me up to the SEC.
Right.
Wow. Of all the guys you went up against, who was one guy that you were like, man, this guy brings it every player. This guy's really good.
Man, not to be biased because I played with him, Justin Smiley.
Yeah.
Justin Smiley, man, that guy there, he was one of a kind at that guard.
I bet.
He was strong, he was quick, he was fast. What made Justin so good, he was an offensive guard with a defensive lineman mentality.
Mm.
And I know with him in practice, A-Day, I mean, I got strapped up like I'm going against anybody I don't know.
Right.
Because, he was a great player, man. He was a great player.
So, Ahmad, unfortunately, in 2002 and in 2003, Alabama was on probation for those 2 years that you played for them. Mm-hmm. However, you guys, both years, got to go out to Hawaii and play the Warriors.
Yes, sir.
What was that experience like going out to Hawaii for the first time in 2002?
Oh man, it was great. I mean, I got a little feel of what a bowl game might look like, because we didn't get the whole perks, but to fly across and playing the game. They treated it to us like a bowl anyway. We went out there for almost a week, and we had fun, and came together as a team and enjoyed our time and got to play some good football. Because that Warriors team, that's the 2 years. I think that was right when they were starting to get right back coming up, getting on their feet with Timmy Chang and all them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had some good linemen.
So, Ahmad, you just mentioned him right there. He is now the head coach of the Warriors out there. Talk about what it is like, or what it was like, going up against that awesome quarterback out there, Timmy Chang.
Because he could sling it, man.
Man, he was a gunslinger, man.
He
was. He was great. Like he played there. That was his choice, but like he was a quarterback, could have played anywhere to me.
Yes.
Like he was an awesome quarterback, man, and he could move, and like you say, he had a cannon.
There's kind of a running joke here on the show, especially during football season. I've always been. I don't want to say I'm a Hawaii fan, but I've always kept my eye on Hawaii ever since I was a kid. Because I'm a night owl, and to quote Jimmy Buffett here, I now wake up when I used to go to bed. Because now I'm an early bird. But I used to always stay up and watch that Hawaii game, even when I was like a fourth grader, a fifth grader, a little kid. If the Hawaii game was going to be on ESPN late that night, there was only one ESPN back then. In the day.
Right, yeah.
I would stay up and I would watch that Hawaii game, and so over the years, I'd always stay up and watch that Hawaii game. But I remember staying up. I was at television at the time. Timmy Chang. I used to do the news at night, and then I was like, man, I'm gonna watch Timmy Chang do his thing,
Yeah.
And I would just sit there, and man, he could just fling it over and over and over. And I was like, why can't anybody stop this guy?
Man, he had some receivers. I think he had a receiver that year. I think his name was Chad Owens or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he was lightning fast. Like that team there, man. You couldn't underestimate them. They had a team.
Yeah.
Is it hard flying all the way out there? I mean, is there jet lag? I mean, I know you guys had a week, but for the regular player that goes out there, the regular team that travels out to the island to play Hawaii, do you see where the jet lag could definitely come into play? And getting caught up in the atmosphere, and it's not necessarily the atmosphere is just overwhelming. It's just the atmosphere is like, oh man, this place is nice.
Yeah, man, it was nice, man. Cause we stayed on Waikiki, right there on the beach,
on North Shore, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's a jet lag, and then you're going out there and you're just experiencing and enjoying life. Like it was lovely and it's pretty. Like everywhere you look, it's beautiful out there.
Now, what before you went out there? I'm guessing you'd never been to Hawaii before. I've never been.
Never.
All right, so. What is the closest thing that you have seen at that time in your life that was the closest thing to Hawaii?
Probably Florida.
Okay.
Went down to Florida because all the beaches and the water and stuff.
Right.
But man, to be real, nothing compares to that. I
bet it doesn't.
Nothing compares to that. I mean, I could have went out there a third year if we wanted to.
So, Ahmad, I really hate to bring this up, but you were the first player that we've talked to on the show about this whole situation. Mm-hmm. What was it like being at Alabama during the whole Dennis Franchione to Mike Price to Mike Shula issue there?
Oh man, it was tough. Because one, I'm gonna talk about my experience. Okay. I loved that Coach Fran and Coach Eggins and Coach Pope, Coach Termadol and all them, man. Like when they recruited me and got me there, man, I felt so much at home and so much like family. Coach Torbush and all of them, and I understand. Coach Fran had to do what he had to do. I mean, he got to support his family. I don't know the ins and outs. It might have been some other stuff that happened. Right. I don't know, but the way I looked at it, he just took a better paid job to help his family. Yes. I'm gonna put it like that because he was a great coach, and that year that he was there, I think we went 10-3.
Right.
like in the AP poll, we was top 10, I think, that year. Defense was ranked right up under Miami's defense. That's the year they won the national championship. So, I mean, it was all good. Then, Coach Price came in and, it was a hard situation for us because a lot of us had good relationships with the Coach Francione staff. You get what I'm saying? Like Derek Pope, he had his uncle that was on the staff. Coach Pope was his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And, and so close as me and Derek was, that's like an uncle to me too. So it was like, then when the Price situation came up, it was like we was just now getting to gel with them, build a player-coach relationship with that staff, and then boom, after the spring is done, it's over with.
Right.
And we like God, like what's going on, man? Like, soon as we starting to get comfortable with a new staff, now this going on. I mean, unfortunate what went on with that situation. It was kind of rough on a couple of us, man. You know what I'm saying? Because
I do.
It was kind of rough. We was like, we already on probation. Now we got this going through. Now we finna get to go through a third coach in the whole year.
Go on, Ahmad. I'm sorry.
Some of us, before we finna play our second year, is going through a third coach already. We like, what else is finna get ready to happen? But Coach Shula came in, man. He made us feel comfortable. He made us feel right at home. And Coach Shula, he wasn't afraid to hear us out.
Yes.
And he understands how we feel. How you take some young men that done sign, and now this done happen. That Coach Price bringing them in, and this happened. So I mean, what I commend Coach Shula about, he was there and he handled it very well.
Looking back at that situation, and I've got two questions here for you. Mm-hmm. I was in media. I was covering, who Alabama was going to hire, and I thought Mike Price was a great hire. And I heard about Francione. I had a buddy of mine, an old college roommate, who was coaching college football down in Natchitoches, Louisiana, at Northwestern State. And someone there on that Alabama team was transferring out, was going to go to Northwestern State, and they knew it way ahead of time, and the coaches were setting everything up for him to head back to or go to Northwestern State, I should say. And my buddy asked, he goes, "Hey man, we're hearing rumors that you guys are going to Texas A&M." And I mean, this is like October.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, we're all out of here at the end of the season." And he called me immediately, and he goes, "Dude, you got the scoop." I was like, "Well, one, I can't claim you as a source. And two, I can't confirm it. I can't call that coach and ask him to confirm that. He's not going to confirm that with me."
Right.
I tried. He didn't.
Yeah.
But my eye was on it. And so I remember people were like, "What are you hearing?" I was like, I'm hearing they're out the door. I said, "It's secondhand information, but I hear they're out the door." And it's like, "Can you confirm it?" I was like, "Nope, cannot get a confirmation on anything."
Right.
And so anyway, we heard about all that, and then they left. When did you guys find out that Francione was heading out? Because I heard about it 2 months before the season was out.
Man, we didn't hear about it until after we came back from Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah, like basically right after we came back off Christmas break, we heard about it.
I want to say it was like the week before Halloween when I heard about that, and I was like, "This is insane."
No, we didn't hear about it till we came back from Christmas break. They called a meeting, and they told us what happened, what was going on, and so
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Here's the second part of my question, and I'm about to make some of the college students there in Tuscaloosa upset. So I'm glad it's summer break and there's not too many to hear me say this. But college kids today, I should say that student athletes today. Because they're not kids, they're adults. They are.
Right.
The college athlete today, the student athlete, I'm not picking on them. They're not as mentally tough as, say, you were 20 years ago.
Right.
They didn't have the right mindset. And we got the transfer portal, and let's admit it, the transfer portal is great, but it's also crazy. It's not always good either.
No, it's not.
If the transfer portal was there during the whole Franchione, Mike Price, Shula fiasco, I got a feeling a bunch of you guys would have been out of there. And that's not knocking you guys. It's just that you had 3 coaches in just a couple of months.
Right.
I mean, there's like, man, this thing's all over the place. I'm out of here.
Right.
I mean, you even admitted to it that it was tough on you guys. It was hard. You just got comfortable with the staff, spring practice, then boom, they're gone.
Right.
So with that being said, if the transfer portal was there, if you had to guesstimate a percentage of the team, how many guys you think would have bailed out? 5%, 20%, half of them?
You know what? To be honest, I think probably 5% of a few.
Okay.
But it wouldn't have been none of like the starters or
right.
It wouldn't have been no main contributors because they could have went somewhere else and contributed to or started somewhere else too because they was that good of a player. But the thing what kept us down there was when that thing with Mike Shula happened, it really brought more of us together as players.
Mm-hmm.
We developed more of a bond that we was like, well, man, we see we all we got. Whatever happens through here is going to happen, and we got each other. So we're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to push each other. We're going to be there for each other through these situations. We was there for some of the young guys, because some of them kind of felt a certain way because they was recruited by these other guys. You understand what I'm saying? So, and it was just like me and Derek, we was recruited by Franchione, but we developed relationships with Antoine Odom, Anthony Bryant,
right.
Brooks Daniels, all them kind of guys, and I had my homeboy that was from the hometown, San Antonio Beard. He was down there, and it brought us all together more as grown men.
Mm-hmm.
So we came together. We came more tighter, more brotherhood.
I got a quick follow up to that, and Stephen, I'm not trying to dominate it. I'm sorry. I know you had a question. When did you guys ever hear the name Sylvester Croom as far as head coach?
We only name that we heard about head coach was Parcells.
Okay, because I remember after Mike Price was hired, several of the Alabama media beat writers, the guys that were on the beat for Alabama, they came out and said, a couple of weeks after the hire, hey, Sylvester Croom finished second on this job. And I remember sitting there thinking, and I heard his name being floated around for that head coaching job.
Yeah, we did too.
And so I was kind of like, wow. And we heard, and again, this is third-hand information now, but we heard that, Alabama met with Sly and said, hey, Sly, you finished second to this job. Don't give up hope on Alabama. We want you to be our head coach one day. It's kind of one of those things like you almost made it. You were our second guy. And then all of a sudden, Mike Price, we know what happened. Artie's Angels, we won't go into that. Here in Pensacola, Florida. That was one of my first stories I had to do. And I was like, I hope my mom never sees this story. I have to talk about this. But then, the whole Sly Croom thing. And then Sly gets passed over again.
Yeah.
And we heard that there were some boosters. We won't get into that. But it just shocked me how that was handled by Alabama. And I didn't know if you guys were kind of pulling for Coach Croom. I didn't know if you guys were hoping for it. But I remember sitting there just shocked because as soon as Mike Price got into trouble, I was like, Sly Croom's fixing to leave Green Bay. He'll be in Tuscaloosa by tonight before sun's down,
Right.
And then when they went with Shula, I think it caught everybody off guard. I think it caught everybody in the state off guard.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of did. I mean, we heard, a little bit about Coach Croom and everything, but, when it was at that point when they happened with Coach Price, man, we were just like, man, we just gonna have to do what we gotta do with whoever they bring in here.
Right.
I mean, we already went through spring. Now we're gonna have to learn a whole new format in fall, and we should have learned a whole new format. That's what spring ball is for, to learn a whole new system and everything. So we just came together. We just knew that, man, we're gonna have to, buckle down when the fall camp. We all got to put in extra work.
Yes.
We're gonna have to learn a whole new system. learned a whole new coaching style. And I mean, it kind of manned a lot of us up.
Well, was that summer miserable?
Yeah.
Getting ready for the playbook and everything else?
Man, it was miserable. It was long. It was miserably long, man. Miserable. But I mean, we got through it. We got through
You did.
All right. In September of 2003, the Oklahoma Sooners traveled to Tuscaloosa as you guys hosted the number one team in the country and almost beat them.
Yes.
What do you remember most about that near upset of number one Oklahoma in Tuscaloosa?
One thing I remember, they got lucky. They got lucky because we had them on the ropes. Man, and it came down to, and it seemed like we had them in the ropes that first year down in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So this year we had them on the ropes again, and it came down to the same thing. Except, but this time they did a fake punt instead of a block punt, and they returned it for almost for a touchdown. And I mean, it was a nose fight. We was giving it to them. We was bringing it to them. Defense that game, we had a good game that game, I think.
Yes.
So I mean, I remember we was all over the field, and that game, I knew that I was like, yeah, we coming together. We finna get to be something. Like we just not learning most of these stuff all in the fall and everything. And this number one team right here, and we brought it to them. Yes. We brought it to them.
Well, guys, on that note, we are up against our last break, and when we come back, we are going to finish up the interview with Ahmad Childress, the former Alabama defensive lineman. That's on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Stingray Show right here on Tide 100.9. Springtime is the perfect time to stock your lake or pond with such fish as bluegill, shellcracker, threadfin shad, golden shiners, largemouth bass, or hybrid striped bass. If this sounds like something you're interested in, you need to contact Honey Hole Fisheries right here in Tuscaloosa. You can find them on the website honeyholefisheries.com or on Facebook, or give them a call 205-799-0192 to let them help you grow the lake of your dreams. Welcome back inside our last segment right here on Tide 100.9 inside the Stingray Show, and our guest this evening is Ahmad Childress, who lettered at Alabama from 2002 to 2003 and played defensive lineman. And we were just talking about the 2003 season before the break, and you talked about the Oklahoma game. But the following week, you guys welcomed in the Kentucky Wildcats and the late, great, hefty lefty, Jared Lorenzen.
Golly.
He was a different breed.
Man, that was a load right there.
Ahmad, how difficult was it to tackle him? And did you ever have a play during that game where it came down to just you and him?
I never got to a play where it was just me and him, but I got to a play with it was me and Antoine Odom. We got back there and we hit him. And man, we both looked at each other when we got off the ground. We was like, shit, it's like hitting one of us. I mean, this ain't no little quarterback. I mean, we both had to hit him to bring him down. We had to like roping a cattle. We had to rope and put our legs around and do everything.
You know, I heard Lou Holtz talk about Jared Lorenzen, and in my terrible Lou Holtz impersonation, he goes, he's the only quarterback I know can throw a football through a brick wall. You know, he was like, he said he has never seen an arm with so much power to deliver that football. He said, I have never seen anything like Jared Lorenzen's arm, much less his physique. And
man. He was another quarterback. He had a cannon too.
Mm-hmm.
He had a rifle. And I mean, the hefty lefty, hey, he lived up to his name.
Yeah, the round mound to touchdown.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
God bless Jerry Lorenzen. I wish he was still with us. He was always just a character on and off the field.
Oh, man, he was a good guy, man. I got a chance to really meet him more when I was with the Giants, and he wound up coming up there, too, for a little bit.
Yeah.
And we was on team together, man. We talked about that game with Alabama. I was like, dude, I said, man, you was the heaviest quarterback ever, period. I said, man, I almost put a hernia trying to pull you down on the ground.
Hey, you got a funny Jerry Lorenzen story for us?
No, I mean, like the only one I got is, with me and Antoine Odom, we was bringing him down, and it came down slow because we had to pull we had to double team. One go up top, one go high.
Right.
He got to fall some type of way.
Wow. I heard about Jerry Lorenzen when Coach Brooks came to Kentucky, and I think Jared was going into his senior year, and they were trying to there was rumors of him on a soup diet, and we're going to up his cardio and this and that. But it was his first workout. Like, he hasn't met Coach yet.
Right.
And it's still off-season workouts. Brooks has just been announced. And so anyway, they said it was the first workout, and Brooks comes in, and they said Lorenzen's just laying on the floor, just gushing with sweat. Early morning workout. And he's just sitting there huffing and puffing. And Coach Brooks goes up to him and goes, "Hi, Jared." He goes, "I'm your new head football coach." And they said Jared just put his hand up and goes, "I don't care who the hell you are. Just let me breathe."
I can believe it. I mean, I had to go through that one time in Alabama. They wanted me to cut weight, so I had to wake me and Anthony Bryant. We had to get up at 5:30 in the morning and go meet Coach Jones in the weight room, try to cut that weight, and we did for that last year.
Right. So what are those workouts like?
Trust me, they're worse than the regular workouts.
Is it mostly cardio?
Yeah, I mean, it's cardio and most like what we did with our weights. It was most like repetition, high repetition, the fat burn. It was rough because everybody else sleep in the morning at 5:30.
Right.
Coach Jones had me and Anthony Bryant up at 5:30, meet him in the gym, and I'm like, man, I got to cut this weight. I'm tired of getting up at 5:30, man. Then have to try to get to class at 8 o'clock. I want to sleep in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ahmad, the following week after Kentucky, unfortunately, you guys lost to Northern Illinois 19-16. But oddly enough, you didn't turn the ball over once. So what ultimately led to that upset there in Tuscaloosa?
Basically coming off, even though we lost to Oklahoma, then came right back and beat Kentucky. We were kind of feeling ourselves a little bit. We like, okay, but I mean, we had every right to feeling ourselves. We just went through two football programs, two football playbooks, different type of style of playbooks in less than a year. And we're coming out, I mean, nobody expected us to come out good as we did, started out at least, and underestimated our opponent.
Right.
We thought, okay, this little northern Illinois, we big dog SEC. We just they gonna bow down just because we SEC. So it's gonna be a cakewalk, and they wind up jumping out on us, and like a boxer, they got the punches in, and we couldn't bounce back.
A week later, the Arkansas Razorbacks came into town, and the game was delayed an hour and a half due to lightning. As a player, how difficult is it to get amped up for a game only to have to sit and wait due to weather?
Man, it's kind of rough because when it's just like a guy that's working on a car or doing, y'all guys know, doing housework. When I'm in my groove, let me be in my groove. I ain't trying to stop right now.
Right.
And you go out there for warm up, and you use your groove after you warm. Your adrenaline is still going, and you ready to get back out there as soon as you can. But when you got them long delays, your body just, you just start to get. It's like any other thing. You just start to get down. Like, man, when are we gonna go out? When are we gonna go out? Now you don't start to really. You still focusing on the game, but your body's like, man, I don't know when I'm gonna go out. I don't want to get out juiced up, and I'm just gonna be sitting here another 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, a quick follow up to that, what do you remember most besides the weather delay about that Arkansas game?
Long leg Matt Jones. That's all I can say. Long leg Matt Jones, man.
It looked like he was running so slow, but
It looked like he was
pulled
running
away
so
from
slow.
everybody,
He
every
pulled-
single game.
That one play he did, it was I think it was an option, and he came around. I'm like, man, he is running slow. But I'm like, he's running slow. But I'm looking at our DBs. I'm like, but he is pulling away.
Mhm.
Like, how is this even possible? And they legs, I'm talking about their legs just kicking over too. And he just look like he's just taking up 5 steps every step. I'm like, man, this dude got a horse stride. Like it's like a big horse out there.
If younger listeners, or if you're listening to this and you don't know who Matt Jones from Arkansas is, go to YouTube, and I promise you, his strides are like 2.5, 3 yards when he's running
Easy.
downfield.
Easy.
Each step, and you're like, "There's no way 3 yards is 9 feet." Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He is striding, and he looks so incredibly slow. I always thought it was the white shoes, the white cleats. I was like, that's what's making him look slow. I don't know what it was, but he looked like the slowest guy on the planet, and he left everybody and would pull away. It was amazing.
Pull away from everybody like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, like it was like he was jogging. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly how it was.
Yeah, and nobody could catch him.
Yeah.
It was like a cheat code for video games. I mean, it was
exactly.
It was.
Yes, sir.
So, in October of 2003, Alabama, you guys played a 5 overtime game against Tennessee here in Tuscaloosa. Ahmad, from a player's perspective, how difficult and exhausting is it to play in a 5 overtime game?
Oh man, it's exhausting. I mean, because we was out there for the longest.
Mhm.
We was out there for the longest, man. So I mean, it was very exhausting because I mean, you never expect to play 5 overtimes, but at the same aspect, that's good rivalry football, and I loved it.
Yes.
You know, do you like how they do overtime in college now, where you just do the 2-point conversion after, I believe, the second overtime? You don't run plays; you're just doing 2-point conversions. Do you like that?
I kind of do. 'Cause I mean,
Okay.
hey, I mean, you got to dig in. After that first overtime, you got to dig in.
Mhm.
You know, it could be your last play.
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of, and I know different high schools in different states do it different, but I love here in Mississippi, and most states do this. Put the ball at the 10-yard line, 1st and 10. You know, you got 10 yards to go, not 25.
Right.
10 yards to go. That defense is going to be coming up. You know they're playing it tight because you can't go over the top because there's no room.
Yeah.
And so now you've got that aspect to it. But if you were in charge of college football, how would you set the overtime rules?
Me personally, I would do it like the NFL.
Really?
First one wins. First one score wins.
Wow.
If you score a touchdown, you win. Kick a field goal, other team got another chance. But
wow.
the first touchdown scores win because, to be honest, we compete like that in practice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If we do like an overtime thing, because all head coaches, everybody know, is so offensive friendly, they're not going to give a defense a chance to get back. Even though back in our time, if you score, the other team got another chance to score. But when you're at practice, the defense ain't got no offense out there. So you let that team score. Now it's time for second unit to go, our third unit to go after that first unit. So, I mean, do it like practice. You know, if competing in practice, we got to stop the offense from scoring. They can't score once. So, I mean, I say go sudden death.
Right.
Wow.
So, Ahmad, later that season in 2003, you made your final trip out to Hawaii. Talk about that matchup with Hawaii there in your senior season of 03.
Man, it was very better. It was that Hawaiian team was very good. I don't know what got into them that year, but that was a team. That was a team we played that year, first year down in Hawaii. You know, that first year we played in Hawaii, I think they got more like, okay, we playing SEC school. We playing SEC ball. a little bit of intimidation came in. But them guys got older. And man, it was a good fight. It was a good fight down there. And that's the year they beat us.
We talked about it, the whole jet lag thing, but usually Hawaii likes that late kickoff there on the island because it feels like you're playing at like 2 a.m.
Right.
What time did you guys play? Because if I'm not mistaken, you guys were playing a day game.
We played a day game that time.
Yeah.
The first time we played a night game.
Right.
That time we played a day game, and I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of rough on us because we thought we were gonna play them at night, like we always did, like we did last year.
Right.
So I mean, it was tough on us, and they was ready to play ball.
Yes.
So for the gamblers out there, which I am not, jet lag, playing late at night on the island, and then you've got that crazy, beautiful scenery, that atmosphere that throws you off.
Yes.
You got so many things going against you before you even get to the stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So, Ahmad, let's go to the NFL draft night because we just had it a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
What's it like being a player and hearing your name called? Walk us through that entire experience, please.
It's a good experience because that's what every little boy, when they start playing football from Pee Wee on up, is to be able to get to the NFL, get that call that a team picked you up, drafted you. I mean, it's a dream come true, and it's a blessing.
So, what would you say was your biggest difficulty for you going from college to the NFL?
Besides speed.
It's just it's more of you ain't got coaches over you. Now you it's a job now.
Right.
Okay.
It's a job. At first, you playing for you up there and you to get education, but now you taking the education part out. Now it's a job now.
Yes.
Now this is how you're going to feed your family or provide for you now. So now you really got to dig in because it's up there. It's going to either be dog eat dog. This man's trying to feed a family like you trying to feed a family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either going to be you going to take food off his table or he going to take food off your table. Which one is going to be?
Ahmad, looking back all your years playing football, who was the biggest trash talker?
The biggest trash talker. Oh, man. Who was the biggest trash talker that I would have to say? I'm trying to think now. When I played, the biggest trash talker I would have to say was in college.
Okay.
Was Gerald Dixon from us.
All right.
Yeah. He had a little mouth on him. I knew if I was a wide receiver, would have been tussled out and got some personal fouls.
What was something funny that he would say on the field?
Oh man, Gerald just knew how to. I mean, Smoke just knew how to get up under your skin. And if he saw a little bit, he can get up under your skin. Man, he's gonna crawl up under there all the way he can.
Right.
Oh, that's great. Looking back of all your years, what was the hinge moment in your life where you were like, I want to be a football coach? Was it younger? Was it during your playing days? Was it late in your career? Was it after your career? When was it that you wanted to be a football coach?
It was basically after my career because, I thank God for giving me, the athletic ability and the blessings to play everything that I played.
Mm-hmm.
To play all the way from Pee Wee ball to all the way to the NFL. And so I just felt like I need to give back to some of these younger athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do now at the school. I just keeps it real with them, I tries to show them that certain paths is not going to work. If you want to be successful, like I just had to talk with my team, let your let your schoolwork and your athletic ability match. Don't let it unmatch. Don't let your athletic ability go all on the field, but your classroom ain't matching.
Right.
And I tell them all the time, I'm a perfect example. And how I was in high school, my classwork in my football field wasn't matching. So I had to go another route.
Yes.
I always make a match. The same effort you put in your football, put that same effort in the classroom.
So, Ahmad, my final question for you is this. In college at Alabama, you weighed around 350 pounds. In what ways would you say that your weight helped you and hurt your ability to play college football?
It helped me a little bit because it kept size. It wasn't like it was mostly like I was just like super big. I had a lot of muscle too.
Right.
But I knew if I could have cut down weight more, I could have been more effective than what I was.
Right.
You know, my last question for you, Ahmad, is a fun one. Looking back, what's the most fun you had playing football? Is it coaching it? Was it learning it? Was it the newness of going to Alabama? Was it adapting to there in Kansas? What was that moment like for you that you just look back, it's like, that's the most fun I ever had playing football?
Hey, man, I'm telling you, when I hit Tuscaloosa, I'm like, this is what big time football is all about.
Right.
This is what big time football. Because my brother and them, they used to tell me that all the time because they played big time college football. I had two brothers play at Clemson, OJ Childress and Gary Childress, and just listening to them and they come back home telling their stories, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I've been waiting on to get to college football. Is it like the movies? Is it like the movie program now? It was. I loved it. I loved it. I loved my college experience. I was at Alabama.
I hear you. What? When's the last time you've been back to Alabama?
It was in 2020. Last time I've been down there. Yes, sir.
Okay. And so when you make it back to Tuscaloosa, is there anything that you always want to do or hit up or a place you want to go eat?
Man, I just go everywhere, man. I just I go everywhere because, I go play some place and I'd be like, okay, I remember this street used to have it, but now you can't go down the street because it's blocked off because of buildings.
Right.
So I just love to go down there and see how everything is, they got, expanding more.
Mm-hmm.
The new changes. It make me feel old sometimes too.
So, Ahmad, what is next up for you? Do you want to get into the college coaching ranks or not?
I would love to get into the college coaching ranks, but I take my steps. I got a good coaching mentor that I have right now is my head coach is Josh Crouch, and I just take wherever the good Lord takes me to. If He keep me in high school, keeps me in high school. If He take me to the next level, I'm happy, ready to get up to the next level.
A fun question, and I said it was my last one a second ago. I made that up. I got another one for you. Ahmad, if you're a recruit, you're 17 years old right now.
Mm-hmm.
Who's one coach that you would love to play for?
Nick Saban.
There you go.
Nick Saban. Big Nick gonna bring it all up out of you. He demands you be a dog, and he gonna bring the dog up out of you.
There you go.
I love it.
So, Ahmad, look, man, we really do want to thank you for this awesome interview. And before we let you go, is there anything that you would like to give a shout out to or tell people where they can follow you on social media?
First and foremost, I just want to thank God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for everything and for all my blessings and everything, and to do the show and everything. Anybody can find me. They can find me on Facebook up under Ahmad Childress. I'll be coaching, and I'm coaching at high school at Green Hill High School in Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Head coach Josh Crouch, and I give a shout out to all my family, my friends, and all my road titles.
Yes.
There you go.
So, Ahmad, look, man, thank you again, and we will definitely catch up during the football season, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Take care, Ahmad.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen of the West Alabama area, the Tuscaloosa Farmers Co-op, located in Northport, Alabama, has over 70 years of experience in feed, seed, and other gardening needs. If you guys are interested in picking up a couple of plants, flowers, or other gardening needs, as well as feed for livestock, then you need to check out the Tuscaloosa Farmers Co-op page on Facebook for all of the latest deals that they have going on, and their newest inventory is the Next Level golf cart to make all of your neighbors envious, and those are street legal as well. You can find Tuscaloosa Farmers Co-op on 4301 McFarland Boulevard over there in Northport, just west of the Highway 43 and 82 intersection. Go by and check out the Tuscaloosa Farmers Co-op for all of your farming needs. Well, Heath, I got to tell you what, man, I thoroughly enjoyed that with former defensive lineman Ahmad Childress there from Alabama. And I thoroughly enjoyed him talking about trying to tackle the late, great, hefty lefty, Jared Lorenzen.
I enjoyed hearing him talk about what it was like when he was a student and what he's trying to change. He was very open about it, how he was not a good student in high school. He thought teachers would just give him the grade because he was a football star.
Right.
And they didn't. And he had to go to junior college. And so now he is in the most wonderful position. He was talking about God. He was grateful for that job.
Yes.
God has put him exactly in that position because he gets to teach, the high school athlete now, the high school football player, don't do what I did.
Yes.
Take care of your grades, and you can go be part of big-time football for 4 years, not 2 like I had to. And where my mama had to drop me off in the middle of nowhere, as he said.
Yes.
But again, he looks back at that and he's very grateful for it. It made him grow up. When he went to Kansas to junior college, it made him grow up. He got to meet a wonderful family, a second family, and he calls all those people his brothers and sisters and mom and dad. So it was a wonderful experience for him, and an experience that made him grow up. And it was probably the perfect environment for him. And no, I'm not going to preach a sermon here, but the good Lord was clearly looking after him in all those situations. And so when you hear about a guy like that and how, he feels blessed to be where he's at, the parents there at that school should say their prayers at night and be thankful that they got Coach Ahmad right there leading their children and being there and guiding them through this process. Because I wish and hope when my son gets to high school football that he has somebody like that.
Preach it, Heath. Preach it. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Stingray Show. We hope that y'all have thoroughly enjoyed it here on Tide 100.9. And coming up tomorrow evening, we will be back with a review of Hoover and a preview of the regionals this week, as Alabama will host its first regional since 2006. So congratulations to Alabama baseball. Plus, we have a huge announcement that you're not going to want to miss. That is tomorrow night on the Stingray Show at 6 o'clock on the Wednesday edition of the Stingray Show. And guys, we are out.